Nobody warned her about the weight of that name. Lisa Marie Presley. Elvis's daughter. The heir to the most famous legacy in music history. And she spent her entire life trying to survive it. Because the truth she finally revealed was not about money. Not about fame. Not about the things people assumed came with being Elvis Presley's child. It was about Graceland. Not the mansion. Not the museum. The feeling. Because growing up in a house that the whole world wanted to see means you never really live there. You just exist inside someone else's memory. She said it herself in interviews over the years. Not with anger. With something heavier. The kind of exhaustion that comes from carrying a name you never chose. That people didn't see her. They saw her father. She was the daughter of a ghost. And ghosts are very hard to live with. And then, her own son died. Benjamin Keogh. 27 years old. Gone. A tragedy that no parent should ever have to carry. And Lisa Marie had to carry it in public. Because when you're Elvis Presley's daughter, even your grief becomes entertainment. People watched. People speculated. People turned her pain into headlines. And through all of it, she kept speaking. She told the truth about addiction. About loss. About the dark side of a legacy that most people think is a gift. She said that being Elvis's child was not a privilege. It was a responsibility she never asked for. One that followed her through every relationship, every career move, every quiet moment when she just wanted to be herself. Not Elvis's anything. Just Lisa Marie. But the world wouldn't let her. And the awful truth she revealed was not that her father's life was hard. Everyone knew that. The awful truth was simpler. She was never allowed to be ordinary. Not as a child. Not as a teenager. Not as a woman. Not as a mother. Every mistake magnified. Every struggle compared to his. Every failure measured against a standard she couldn't possibly meet. Because you cannot compete with a legend. And she was born inside one. She talked about the isolation. About the difficulty of trusting people. About the constant question, are you here for me, or for the name? And that question changes you. It makes you guarded. It makes you tired. It makes you wonder if anyone will ever see you without seeing him first. And then she lost her son. And the thing she feared most happened again. The world watched. And nobody really saw. In her final years, she wrote. She spoke. She tried to tell people what it was really like. Not to be famous. But to be famous for the wrong reasons. To be born into a story that was already over. To spend your life walking through rooms full of people who love a memory, and don't have room for the person standing in front of them. She said she felt like a museum exhibit sometimes. Something people visited out of respect for something else. Not for what she was. And that is the awful truth. Not abuse. Not scandal. Something quieter and harder to fix. Being the daughter of a legend means you're always living in the shadow of a man who doesn't need you to exist. He already exists. In every song. In every photograph. In every tourist who walks through Graceland and says his name like a prayer. She was there too. Right beside him. In the same house. Under the same roof. And still, she felt invisible. Lisa Marie Presley died in January 2023. The same house. The same place her father had died decades before. And the people who mourned her as Elvis's daughter. Even in death, she couldn't escape it. Maybe that's the most honest thing she ever revealed. That the worst part of being Elvis Presley's child was not the attention. It was the fact that none of it was ever really about her. And she carried that until she couldn't anymore. If these stories move you, the truths behind the names we thought we knew, hit subscribe. Because some people spend their whole lives waiting to be seen. And the ones who finally speak up deserve to be heard.